Hi, how you guys doing today? So for the demo December, I am presenting 3 different demonstrations. These are posted on our YouTube channel, and you can find the links both on our Facebook page and on our email. So I am going to demo today the What's the Buzz keychain and lip balm holder. So these are done with leather. They're 2 tags. This one actually has a pocket on the opposite side that will hold lip balm, just a stick of either your chapstick or your Burt's Bees or your Carmex, any of the standard size sticks of lip balm. So in order to do this project, you are going to need the following items. You will need wash away topping and wash away stabilizer. In addition to that, you are going to need camel leather and white leather. Now, there are embellishment kits available for purchase. These are $4.99 each. Inside the embellishment kits, you have all the leather pre-cuts. You also receive the tassel and the hardware necessary to make the keychain. If you sign up for our DDE, which is Digital Dealer Exclusive program, which is your monthly pattern and a notions kit or supplies such as fabric, blanks, things along that line, which is $25 a month plus tax. Shipping is available. You'll actually receive this package for free. When you sign up for any of the DDE programs with us, whether you're going to be purchasing just the individual patterns, if you're going to sign up for the annual pattern package, or if you're going to be doing this program, you will receive just the What's the Buzz pattern, which will include the directions for making the keychain and making the leather tag. Okay, so let's get started. What I have done is I have hooped my water-soluble stabilizer. Now, I'm a bit of a stickler for saving, and I decided to go ahead and tape 2 pieces together. The reason for this is this project only requires a 4x4 hoop and a 5x7 hoop, and it's done in 2 separate hoopings and 2 separate stitch outs. What I decided to do was to go ahead and load both of those onto my machine so that I can do the bead tag up here and the leather lip balm holder here. So I'm kind of trying to get the most out of one hooping. If your machine is not able to do multiple projects in a display, if you can't do that with your machine, just know that you need a 4x4 hoop for one project and a 5x7 for the other project. If you only have one hoop size available to you, just make sure that you have those 2 sizes can fit into your hoop. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on this. So for this project, you're going to need to have 4 thread colors. You're going to need a yellow, a brown, your black, and your white. In addition to that, you're going to need bobbins that are pre-wound in your white, your brown, and your yellow. All right, you do not need a black bobbin for this project. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our little keychain bee, okay? So to start with, we're actually going to be stitching out the placement line for our leather. And with this one, we can go ahead and use any color thread. And the first thread that we're going to actually be stitching with, the first color we'll use for stitching, is going to be the yellow. And we will need to have just a standard bobbin with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my white bobbin. and thread my yellow thread on my machine. And put my hoop on. And then go ahead and stitch out my placement line. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and place my piece of leather onto my hoop, and I am going to go ahead and tape that in place. I want to stitch the tack down lines, and then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to jump ahead and place my water soluble topping on here and tape that. It doesn't need to go on until after the tack down line, but I'm just trying to get it all taped on in one hooping, okay? So let's get that stitched out. I do like to trim off my little ends before I get going here. All right, now that I have my tack down done, I'm going to go ahead and do my background honeycomb design. And that's in our yellow, so we will just keep going. Okay, now that it's stitched the background, I'm going to go ahead and change my top thread over to white because I'm going to stitch the wings. We've got our wings all stitched out. Now we're going to go ahead and switch back over to the yellow, and we're going to do the little bee's body. Okay, we've stitched out the body, and now we're going to go ahead and do the outlines and the little black stripes on the bee. So we're switching our thread over to black. Okay, we finished stitching out our little bumblebee. So at this point, we need to remove the hoop off of the machine, and we want to go in here and trim off all of these little jump stitches before we go on to the next step, all right? I've finished trimming off all of my jump stitches, and now I'm going to go ahead and turn my hoop over. And what I want to do is take my second piece of leather and cover that original piece from the back, and this is my right side of my leather here. I want to go ahead and use some more Kimber tape and smooth that on here. And I'm going to change my top thread to white, and this is going to be the tack down stitch. This is going to do the entire outline, and then once that is stitched out, we're going to go ahead and trim. All right, I have completely stitched the inside tack down, which has gone ahead and attached that leather. That's the back that covers up all of the back stitching that we had on here. Now, if I was doing this project by itself, I would at this point remove this from the hoop. I would trim right on that yellow thread that we used as our original outline. I want to trim that off so that that thread is gone, but it leaves about 1/8 of an inch outside of that. And then once I have trimmed that away, I can go ahead and remove any excess water soluble topping. I can use a Q-tip with a little bit of water on it to get inside the stitching with the honeycomb and the bee. And then I would go ahead and proceed with finishing this by taking my jump ring and sliding that jump ring over this hoop, this part right here, and then folding this in half so it's right here, clipping it, and then going ahead and doing a straight stitch with the white thread right across there to have the jump ring. So I'll actually go and show you that part at the end once I finish stitching out my lip balm holder. So for the lip balm holder, we want to go ahead and stitch a placement line first. The placement line I'm going to go ahead and do in white because this way I can also do my next step, which is my tack down in white, and it'll be easier to see those lines when I have to trim later. All right, let's go ahead and get that done. Trim later. All right, let's go ahead and get that done. And once I've stitched the placement line, I'm going to remove the hoop from the frame, and I'm going to go ahead and place a piece of leather on the back, covering this placement line. And I want to tape that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and repeat that on the front of the hoop. And I also want to tape this in place. Now that I have my leather taped on the back and the front, I will put the hoop back on, and I'm going to stitch this tack down. Again, I'm still leaving my white thread on because I want to be able to see this later when I need to trim around the outside edge. Now that I have the tack down finished, I'm going to do some background quilting on here. So I'm going to change my bobbin thread and my top thread back to yellow. I've gone ahead and stitched out my honeycomb pattern, and this is going to be on the front and the back. I'm going to go ahead and remove all the tape that I've used to hold down that leather. And then I'm going to take my third piece, the smaller piece of the camel leather, and on the back of my hoop, I am going to tape that so that it actually lines up with the tick marks that were made when I stitched out my tack down lines. And I'm just going to trim off a little bit of extra threads that I've got hanging around here. Okay, so I'll show you these little tick marks. Right here are the little tick marks that were made when we did our tack down. See why it was a good idea to have it done up in the white? You can actually see those a little bit better. And I want to lay that piece of leather so that it is lining up with those tick marks. And I'm going to go ahead and tape that on. This is the back of our hoop, so we want to tape that to the back. And then I need to flip this back over to the front, and I'm going to take a piece of wash away stabilizer, and I'm going to place that at the top of this handle part right here, or I should say the loop right there. And the reason that we're doing that is this is a bit of a denser stitch to hold this all together, because this is going to get a lot of pull when you start putting your chapstick into those pockets, and you don't want that to come out. So it's going to be doing a lot of back stitching, and in order to keep that stitching how do I want to say, stable on that top part of that loop, we're going to just put another layer of water soluble, this is the actual stabilizer, not the topping, water soluble stabilizer over that top portion, just like that. Okay, I have this on the back, and that's on the top. At this point, you're going to change your bobbin to brown before stitching out the final tack down, and your top thread to brown. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll stitch. now that I've completed stitching the tack down that's holding my pocket here on the back, I can take everything out of my frame and wash away all my excess stabilizer. And then I can go ahead and add the jump rings and my lobster clasp and my little pom-pom. So I'll show you guys the finished project here in just a minute. All right, I have my bee stitched onto my ring, and I have my lip balm holder stitched onto my ring. So now that is all that is left to do is to attach these two items and my pom onto the key ring. So we'll go ahead and slide one, get number 2 and number 3 all on there, slide them around. I also have my lobster claw that's also going to go onto the key ring. And look at that, there I have it. I've got my little bee, my pom-pom, and my chapstick holder. I cannot begin to tell you how important this is going to be to me because I lose that stuff all the time. It falls down into the fathoms of my purse and I can never find it. So that is our demonstration for What's the Buzz keychain. This is number 2 in our demos for Demo December. And following my video here, you will take all 3 codes from all 3 videos and email me with those codes, and you will receive this pattern for free. All right? I'm sorry, not this pattern. I'm so sorry. The poinsettia jar topper is the free pattern for Demo December. This is free when you purchase the DDE patterns from the Quilted Cat Sewing Studio. All right, you guys have a great afternoon. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you again later. Bye-bye. The demo code for today is A67FH. Email the code to info@thequiltedcat.com.